Forbes India and CNBC-TV18 present Exotel, EngageX.
Few sectors understand the value of trust better than BFSI, and as financial institutions accelerate their AI and digital transformation journeys, the real competitive advantage lies in using technology not just to automate processes, but to create more responsive, predictive, and customer-centric experiences at scale. To decide how BFSI is building the trust intelligence advantage, may I invite our panelists who will be joining Neni on stage. Vijay, Rajagopal, Head BFSI and Fintech, Go-to-Market, AWS. And Girish, Sehgal, Chief Health, UWN Claims, Customer Service and Operations, ICICI Lombard, General Insurance. Welcome, gentlemen. Over to you, Neni.
Girish, I'm going to start this conversation with you. ICICI Lombard hit 98.8% of retail health claims paid within 30 days in FY26. Am I right in saying that? Which is, I guess, well ahead of the industry average. What were the operational and technology decisions that were made that were perhaps most consequential in getting you there? Is part one of my question. And the second one being, how did you make that speed meaningful to the customer, not just at as a back office metric, but actually for them to while they're filling the claim, how did that sort of impact them?
Great. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me here. Now coming to our claims speed, let me start by saying yes, we do lead on AI architecture, which helps us, of course, one, in speeding up the claims, getting the agility and nimbleness. Second, of course, it helps in fraud detection because we want to eliminate bad risk and only good risks should seep in. And of course,
sorry
it also,
to interrupt you, Girish. If you can just,
It also helps in getting a underwriting precision. So these are, of course, being led using AI. We do have for small value claims, which are high in frequency, AI takes those decisions and immediately approves those claims. And not to take away the fact that, yes, there is a very strong governance architecture in place. There is always a human in the loop, which oversees that there should not be any wrong decisioning. So there is this entire digital interface which works. If you look at delays largely, the delays are only because the documents are physical. There are handoffs which happen. So we have mandated that it has to be only digital interface. All claim intimations happen through our IL Take Care app. Once the claims are inwarded, there is an AI engine which works, which tells the customer to move ahead or to get some new documents. Right. And once it is inwarded, there is the AI engine which gets into play with a human in the loop, and hence that's actually leads to a lot of speed that we get, and the 99% number that you referred.
98.8%.
Yeah, 98.8% number that you referred to. In terms of touch points, yes, there are dynamic updates which keep going to clients at every stage through our WhatsApp chatbot or through the app, similar to Amazon, where you keep getting updates when you order something. So you are informed at every stage. So while AI is helping us in speeding up the things, customer experience is paramount, and it is a certainty with ICICI Lombard.
Can we see that go up to 100%?
Of course, that's the intent. Thank you so much.
Vijay, coming to you, AWS sort of sits at this unique intersection where there's global AI capability on one side, and then there's the Indian BFSI on the other. Now, from that vantage point, what are some advantages that Indian BFSI AI deployments have that perhaps no other algorithmic sophistication would?
Sure. Thanks, Naini, and good evening to all of you. to quickly just introduce myself. So I lead the go-to-market for AWS. I'm the country head for BFSI and Fintech GTM. Really a pleasure to be amidst all of you today evening, and along with Girish and Naini as well. Yeah, I think we are at the intersection, and like you rightly said, I really truly believe that we are fortunate to be in a country which probably has arguably the world's best digital ecosystem. Right? We're talking of confluence of UPI, Aadhaar, account aggregation, OCEN, etc., which today a lot of countries envy us for that, right? Because it gives us a treasure trove of data. And imagine 2,000 crore transactions in a month, which is the current volume of UPI, processing almost 20 to 30 lakh crores of rupees. That's enormous. What that does is it leaves behind a lot of data trail and allows firms to experiment and build. Literally, as you say, you build for billions when you're building in India, right? And that really drives a lot of scale, right? So there is a lot of very rich payment ecosystem data that's there. The second thing is India has a heterogeneity, right? So you look at multilingual, right, from digital natives to seasoned users to all kinds of variety in terms of the user base. Right? Like, so for anyone trying to adopt new use cases, new solutions, India becomes a beautiful playing ground, right? Because you can experiment, you can try out things, and it'll be challenging because of the heterogeneity. But if you're able to make it work, then replicating it across the world becomes easier, right? That in some sense, if you look at, I mean, we saw this awesome voice AI call that happened. Look at the number of regional languages that people have to cover to really cover the length and breadth of India. Like no other country really comes even close, right? And that's the intersection we are in. And the third element I would say, Naini, is that there is a trust element that's all pervasive to BFSI, right? And we are very clearly realizing that it's not about building AI in silos, right? It's about building AI, which is interconnected across systems. That is going to deliver value for you, and it has to be built in a manner which is built on trust, because BFSI is all about trust. It's explainable, it's auditable, and it is something
seamless. Right?
Absolutely,
that
right?
is the key.
So those are the three things that really make this unique.
Very, very interesting, Vijay. Girish, coming back to you, AI health underwriting can identify risk with extraordinary granularity. But, at the same time, there tend to be certain ethical questions, as always, there are its own risks, etc. How do you sort of balance this, the legitimate risk differentiation and the algorithmic discrimination? How do you sort of balance the two?
I think great question. So like I said, we do use AI for risk selection to eliminate bad risk, get good risk insight, pricing accuracy, underwriting precision. But there is a strong governance architecture in place. There is always a human in the loop. And the heart of underwriting is always data. Yeah. Anything that you want to underwrite, you need data. And data is, of course, basis the consent of the customer. Data is put in. Data usage, we have to be very accountable for the usage of the data, with the DPDP also coming in and going to be effective very soon. So I think somewhere data holds the key. While we do use AI and a lot of algorithms, but overall it has to be administered, and model has to be controlled by human in the loop clearly, and there has to be no bias in the model. There can't be whatever that we do. I think the underlying principle is underwriting, that whatever that we do is completely based on fairness. Completely based on fairness.
Wow. Yeah. That's a hard, I'm sure that's a big claim to be making, but I totally get where you're coming from. Vijay, coming back to you, what is perhaps the most significant tension between global cloud architecture standards and the Indian regulatory standards, and how is AWS navigating these?
Well, that's a great question, because we keep hearing that, right? In an interconnected world, how does one balance this need for standardization, which is what global architectures do, and localization, which is what local regulatory organizations look for, right? Like, so how do you balance that? And we are seeing it, and we are seeing regulators asking a lot more evolved questions. Okay. It's no longer about, hey, how does cloud work? I think we have gone way past that.
Regulators evolving
Absolutely.
as well. Yeah.
We have gone way past that. It's more about how's your cloud architecture, something which is explainable, reliable, and something that's auditable in a highly regulated environment, right? Like, those are the questions that we are dealing with. And I would say from an AWS standpoint, the way we have looked at it is to say that we have two regions in India, which are regions where data resides completely in India, Mumbai and Hyderabad. We have strict controls when it comes to identity management, access management, encryption, and so on. We have extremely tight processes when it comes to observability and the kind of AI guardrails that we have kept when you're deploying AI on the cloud, right? Like, so all of that, the whole idea is that how are you able to explain what you did to the regulator, right? And in an increasingly autonomous agent-driven world, explainability is key. We cannot say, okay, the agent did something, I cannot explain. That will not work. It will not work across sectors. It will not work for sure in BFSI, where the regulator wants to know why you did what you did.
Girish, coming back to you, what are the consent, governance and service design frameworks like at ICICI Lombard to keep it on the right side of the line, since we're talking about governance?
So, like I said, there is an explicit customer consent which is taken for anything and everything that we do. If there is a wellness program that we are running, the pricing is disclosed upfront. The decisioning, the data is taken basis customer consent in terms of whether he's going to a gym, whether he's attending a fitness session, if he's running a marathon. All data has to eventually come in from the customer only, basis his consent. The usage of data is again based on his consent, and whatever is the output will be upfront told that yes, there would be rewards or wellness points which you can redeem later on. But anything and everything that we do, the data is the heart and soul, and the data comes from clients, and there are strict guardrails. The model, whatever that we work with, has a human in the loop, like I said, very, very stringently working together, and the decisioning is extremely, extremely fair. And let me put a caveat, we would always try to be fair to the customer and also fair to the organization. So both sides.
Absolutely. Vijay, coming back to you, there's a lot of talk about governance by design.
Yeah.
But what does it actually look like at the cloud layer?
Yeah. So, see, we have realized that, and let's take a step back, right? Like, so what used to be governance in the past, especially from a financial sector angle, was in terms of reviews, processes, manuals, highly manual oversight, and so on. What you've realized is in an environment where data is real time, decisions have to be taken almost instantly. And with AI increasingly pervading every element of the financial sector, you cannot have governance as an overlay, right? It has to be governance by design, right? Yeah. And I think one of the ways to look at governance is that it's not a tax on innovation, right? In a lot of ways, we have seen governance accelerate innovation, okay? And if you look at cloud, no longer cloud is just an infra layer, right? I mean, you think of cloud as a foundational layer, right? On which you can build this innovation for driving AI-centric organizations. That's going to be the future, okay? So that's going to be the future. So in some sense, the cloud becomes the epicenter for everything that you do. And for you to do that, governance is important. And I'll tell one thing which I really feel is super critical when you come to these autonomous agents. Right? There's a lot of talk in terms of how much autonomy to give, how much are they accountable, and so on. Right? And let's look at it. So if you give them complete autonomy and there is no accountability to agents, then it's very risky. Right? Because the agents can run amok. Yeah. If you completely go on the other side, where you drive a lot of accountability from agents and you make it very process-driven, you don't let them act on their own, then you lose the benefit. Yeah. right? So the true results are got when you straddle the right balance. And I think that is going to be super important from a governance standpoint.
So like Girish said, human in the loop is...
Human in the loop is absolutely essential. Ultimately, the human has to be accountable. But governance by design, when it comes to identity, when it comes to observability, when it comes to encryption, when it comes to guardrails, all of those are going to be super important.
Right. I believe we're running short of time, so some last thoughts. As BFSI sort of moves from descriptive to predictive intelligence, Girish, what does that shift demand of your operations and customer service model?
So a lot of inputs in terms of, I think for any business, especially insurance, I think trust is the most important thing, if I would say. If customer trust is something which gets built in drops but destroyed in buckets. So we have to have a trust, faith of the customers coming in. And I think whatever that we do...
You'll hold your mic.
Whatever that we do here in our business or operations, we try and do a lot of predictive things, in the sense we do disease risk management. We do call out to the customers if they are like, if you look at the present scenario, there is a heat wave which is going around. So there is a call that would go to the customer advising them on being hydrated, prevent them from malaria, dengue, etc., etc. When monsoon sets in, there would be again predictive calling that would happen. So a lot of stuff that we really want to do, especially for those customers who have come in and had a previous claim with us. So that's the kind of predictive analysis. We also do a lot of predictive analysis on the segments, on the cohorts, on the products, on the pricing that we really do. And also we keep studying the ecosystem. So there is a lot of predictive analysis that goes into designing and the entire processes that we execute with our clients.
Very interesting. Vijay, what is the demand of the data architecture?
Yeah. So I think three things are happening. I mean, if you look at it, one is data is moving from very structured elements to a lot of unstructured data. Right now, you're able to get customer data in terms of voice, in terms of email, text, WhatsApp, the likes. So the AI and the connected systems have to be able to process that. Yeah. Right? Like that's the first capability. Yeah. Second is, you're going from batch to real time. Right? Like that's the second angle, which is super important. The third, echoing the point on data, right, is that you have to have clear, unified data to make AI work. I think a lot of people jump into the AI bandwagon without getting data right. I keep reiterating, if you don't have right data, your AI cannot get you the results that you want. Right? So it's super important to make sure that the data is absolutely right and it's in a form that you can use. I think these three things are going to be critical for designing the right architecture to make AI work. And I think maybe one final comment I would leave is that think of AI as something that it's truly multifunctional, right? It's not just a tech project. It's not isolated in one department. It has to be truly multifunctional. It has to be thought through with respect to what are my business goals that I want to achieve. Right? AI is not a tech problem. It's a business problem. Start with what are the business goals I want to achieve? What's the ROI I want to get? Then look at how do I break it down across functions? And then your architecture will answer those questions when it comes to it.
I think that's a great note to end this conversation on. Sure. Thank you both so much for your time. It was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Forbes India and CNBC-TV18 present Exotel, EngageX.